I will present what Uezi is doing and why we are here today with also our partners from the National Institute of Observatory of Athens, discussing about emerging space-based and satellite-based solution for the agri-food sector. So again, before going into the detail of my presentation, I would like to provide the audience with a little bit of data on the magnitude of the agricultural sector in Europe and providing some figures which are basically based on the latest available data distributed by the European Union. So what we can say about the value of everything that the EU agricultural industry produced in 2018, including the value of crops, the value of animals, the agricultural services, is estimated around 434.3 billion euros. So the EU confirms again, yet for another year, its position as the leading global exporter of agri-food products, with an export which, as you can see, reached 138 billion euro in 2018, representing a solid 7% share of the value of total goods exported in the same year, and actually ranking fourth after machinery, manufactured goods and chemicals. And what we can also say about this is the top 5 destinations of European agri-food products continue to be United States, China, Switzerland, Japan, and Russia. So the agricultural sector contributed in 2018, which is the latest year where we have available data, for 1.1% of the European Union overall GDP, which, just to give you a little bit of the size and the amount, is the same GDP of Greece for the same year. So this means also that every euro spent on goods and services used in the production process, the agricultural industry created an added value of 0.72 euros, which is basically a good number in the wider economy. And when it comes to the employment, what we can say is that in Europe, about 9.3 million full-time workers in 2018 have been employed in the agricultural sector. And if we enlarge the focus to basically food-related industries and services, the number of jobs are about 44 million in the EU. So the success of the agricultural trade is clearly linked to the CAP, which is the Common Agricultural Policy, which is supporting competitiveness and innovation within Europe, and also it contributes to provide a great reputation of our products for being safe, sustainably produced, nutritious, and of high quality. So, however, what we have to say is that the agricultural sector is facing a lot of challenges. Challenges deriving, for instance, from the increase in the global demand for food due to the population growth. The global food system is expected indeed to provide safe and nutritious food for a population that will grow from 7.5 billion people today to nearly 10 billion people in 2050. The second large, let's say, challenge, which of course has within itself additional issues that needs to be tackled, is definitely to provide livelihood for millions of people working in the agri-food sector. And this is again strictly linked with availability and with ability to grant adequate support to farmers to sell their products at a fair price and to compete in the global market. Eventually, the global food system also has a large environmental footprint, and it's currently suffering very much from climate change. The agriculture occupies currently nearly 40% of the Earth's surface, far more than any other human activity. And in addition, irrigation, for instance, of agricultural crops comprises 70% of global water use. And agriculture directly contributes to around 11% of global greenhouse gas emissions. So the challenges facing farmers today are immense and also very interconnected, deriving from, again, climate change pressure, increasing population, the need to protect precious biodiversity and natural resources, from basically only expanded cultivated area, which can indeed lead to what we know nowadays as deforestation, desertification, additional greenhouse gases emission. And also another point that I would like to raise in order to understand better the context of the great challenges that the agricultural sector needs to face is the fact that basically the societal demand of agri-food products will continue to shape the market itself, and people have increasingly pressing and at the same time conflicting expectations from food. So those expectations extend far beyond the affordability to issues such as health, the origin, the convenience, the environment, the climate change, and also animal welfare. So to meet these challenges, the farmers need to have access to the latest and most cutting-edge innovation to sustainably increase their production. So what I want to highlight in this slide is basically what space can do in this context. And as you can see here, you have three main streams of let's say, areas there where space can definitely contribute to optimize processes and to provide like better products. One is risk management, is phytopathology and precision farming. And you have also other, is basically a matrix where you can see starting from which space platform or space system you can have like relative EO products and application. So as you can see, the diversity and the cost effectiveness of technological solutions to monitor agricultural fields and the surrounding environment are increasing rapidly as a result of a progressive investment of public and private organizations in the sector. And remote sensing data has many attractive features in the context of agro-environmental instruments. And one of those could be, for example, that is very accurate and objective, and it can be tuned to specific areas or regions, and at the same time also can be customized to very specific needs. So what we can also add is that in the upcoming sustainable world context, the soil sustaining practices will become a crucial issue for agri-food sector. So the sustainability of the practices can be assessed by measuring changes in soil quality, quantified by selected indicators, thus reflecting any sort of degradation and help decision maker to evaluate and redefine the management and agricultural land if needed. So notwithstanding the benefits of space-based solution, there is still a big lack of awareness of the existing and operative solutions and how space can be used on a daily basis. So in this context comes at play Uezi, which I would like to briefly introduce, is a non-profit association founded in 1989 with at the time visionary mission to bridge space and society. So Uezi has been mandated by its members, which are mostly space agencies across Europe, to maximize the impact of space-derived innovation and the resulting benefits for society. And to fulfill this mission, we raise awareness on the benefit of existing satellite application, and we present and promote emerging satellite application. We support the uptake of emerging satellite application, facilitating the dialogue, for instance, as we are doing today with professional and users community and the space community. We survey users' needs in their working context to provide our members, our partners, and all the decision makers at any level with the bottom-up feedback and the specific policy recommendation to smooth the integration and adoption path of satellite-based solution. So how we do that? We basically add value to innovation projects by involving the users, we champion their needs, and we facilitate the dialogue between them and the space stakeholders. The goal in this context is to create solid relations with professional communities new to space, to encourage early adopters of space-based application to share experiences, creating a common ground for professionals from completely different backgrounds. To do that, we stimulate and we support the dialogue and collaboration between public institutions, SMEs, industry, and academia. So over the years, basically, Uezi, and here you have some of the most recent activities that we performed in terms of promotion of satellite-based solution. We have, for instance, the first example that I would like to briefly illustrate is related to Project Concern International, which is an international development organization, which looked a couple of years ago for a way to empower pastoralists to make better decisions on migration, to avoid basically to rely only on traditional methods which were made highly unreliable due to the effect of the climate change. So PCI basically prototyped the SARPAM, which is the satellite-assisted pastoral resource management within the district of Telalak in Ethiopia. So the traditional grazing maps provided by the local farmers were digitalized and combined with vegetation data into a single, very intuitive and easy to use map. Within 1 year of use of this map, 80% of the pastoralist communities in Telalak were using the satellite-based map, and the herd mortality rate decreased by 48%. Currently, this project is supported and funded by Google and USAID, given the relevance and importance for the community. So the second project is AgroLess. Basically, when agriculture moved to mass production, farmers regularly increased the quantity of fertilizer and water to raise crop yields. So these practices led to sometimes disastrous results, from water loss and soil degradation to ecosystem damage and human water supply contamination. In this context, the agricultural cooperative of Nestos, which is located in the northern part of Greece, offered part of its land to AgroLess. AgroLess is a project using satellite imagery plus in situ and meteorological data to produce real-time soil maps. So since the introduction, and in that case, specific was for asparagus and kiwi, and which needs a lot of water. And since the introduction of this application, the cooperative members reduced their water consumption by up to 60%. And the distribution of fertilizer and pesticides has also improved dramatically. So the final example is about the Emilia-Romagna Regional Agency for Environmental Protection, and the solution is called iCold. So iCold is basically a climate service for agriculture with specific application in water management. So the system integrates satellite data, seasonal weather forecasts, and water balance predictions. Thanks to this iCold, so to this solution, the Hydroclimate Meteorological Services of Emilia-Romagna is able to assess irrigation needs over the whole Emilia-Romagna plain and to capture differences in culture and water availability over time. So an assessment of all those different indicators is made available and published every year, and this information is used by currently 8 irrigation consortia in the Emilia-Romagna to optimize water distribution among plantations. Another basically recent activity that we've been performing, just to illustrate a little bit the range of what Uezi is doing, is this policy brief. So this year, in 2020, in the frame of the UN Year of Plant Health, Uezi, in cooperation with UFresco, which is the network of research organizations and counts right now more than 70 organizations from 5 different continents, and was aim is basically to enhance the cooperation among phytosanitary research activities. We developed together a policy brief to promote the operational use of satellite remote sensing to detect, monitor, and fight plant pests. Here again, despite the proven potential of satellite data to guide ground surveillance activities and other phytosanitary measures, the practical use of remote sensing for plant health is still very limited in Europe and across the globe. So to favor the transfer of space technologies to plant health community, remote sensing data must be made available to national plant protection organizations, and most importantly, to adapt to their specific needs. This is what is included in the policy brief that currently has been, let's say, submitted to the highest possible level at the European Commission and among our members, our Uezi members. So eventually, I want also to come to Eshape, which is basically, I mean, in this perspective, Uezi has been contributing as one of the 54 partners organization in the Eshape project. The Eshape project was submitted in 2018 and was kicked off last year in 2019. And Uezi contributes with IARSC as well, and Francesca will tell you a little bit more details afterwards, to the communication and dissemination of the activities that are performed through the Eshape. And basically, Eshape can be defined as a very unique initiative that doesn't want to create additional solution, but that really builds on decades of public investment in Earth observation and in cloud capability to develop 27 cloud-based pilot applications. And both our presentations and the pilot afterwards are included in those 27, especially in the showcase area, in the domain area of agriculture and disasters. And these projects are mostly for the benefit of very different kind of end user, which can range from decision makers to citizens to industry to researchers to public authorities. And eventually, what I would like to highlight before the end of my presentation is not only what really makes unique this project is the methodology that is used and that is very in line with also Uezi's way of performing his own activities. So here again, you can see the three different main streams, which are the co-design, implementation, and user uptake. So the existing co-design methodologies, which focus on the user centricity, tend to consider that it's all about involving the users in the process. However, when it comes to EO specificities, a new co-design methodology needs to be designed and developed. And within Eshape, this is what has been done, especially including a thorough initial diagnosis of processes to identify the types of problems to be solved, and also the actor that needs to be involved in the process to get the most important feedbacks to better understand the needs of the users. So each pilot will start, as I mentioned, from existing innovation, and the solution will be implemented with a user-centric approach, building an as easy to use as possible service from one end to another one, which means from data to information provision or exploitation. So through the Eshape project, a global users uptake strategy is also executed to promote, again, the utilization of Euro-geo-enabled services at sectorial, national, regional, and international level. So today you will better understand two of the solutions that Nico and Vasilis will present today, and a little bit more in depth what Eshape can do for the agricultural sectors, thanks to the presentation of Vito. I leave the floor to Peter again and to Francesca to understand a little bit better the benefits of all this activity. Thank you very much. Thank you for your attention. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy to answer to any question later.